like a little recap for people that are chiming in
Mhm.
today. Divya and I met when we were teens, I believe. I don't know how old we were, but definitely in our teens, I think.
Yeah.
And then life kind of happened, and I stayed in Calgary, and you moved. I don't even know where you first moved, but it was like so much time, and it has happened in between when we last saw each other to today.
Yeah.
And I'm
Hmm.
like fascinated. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's been happening? Like, I'm like, tell me everything.
What do you
So,
want to know?
well,
No.
yeah,
Uh,
kind of the question that I've been kind of asking people, which has been really interesting, is like, when did it all change? Like, what was the one thing in life? And sometimes there's like many multiple things. I think in my own life, I think of like a multiple things that have changed at the course of the direction of my life. But like, what's the
oh yeah.
one thing that you can think of that's like, well, that changed everything? And then story just kind of like falls out of that space because there's
For
really
sure.
no idea, like perfect idea or plan to these kind of like hangouts. Like, have some, I'm drinking lemon water this morning. It's nighttime for you. Maybe you're drinking
Yeah.
wine. I don't know. But it's the end of the
Not
day.
on a school night. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah,
Yeah.
there
So,
are days that I've had to do that.
yeah. So
God.
yeah, I think it's just interesting. I think one of the reasons why I tried to communicate this over Instagram, but it's so hard to like be like, and this is why I want to do this. But really, I've kind
Mhm.
of had this idea in my head for a couple of years about learning people's stories because I've been through some really difficult times in my life where it's been the vulnerability of other people that has literally carried me out of
Oh
that
yeah.
of darkness.
Oh, for sure.
And give me
For
hope
sure.
as a young mom, or like it's been people that have just been real, going, "Oh, me too. You know, I'm not alone in this." That is that has reminded me and given me the courage to kind of move on, and have the courage to get out of the darkness that I sat in. So this last summer, I went and saw my grandma, who'll be
Hmm.
90 this summer, and she's just lived such a full life. She's had a lot of loss. She's lost, children, had stillbirths, and she's lost her son and her husband, but she's the most vibrant person. She's like, if I know anything, it's that
Hmm.
even at this age, I'm still learning things about myself. And she shared a bunch of her stories as a child, and like just some of the heartbreaking things that she went through and some of the most liberating things she went through. And I was like, Grandma, like, people need to hear these stories. These are so
Yeah.
good. And so it's just been through that I'm just like, oh yeah, I want to know people's stories. If anything, just to inspire other people to go like, hey, you're not alone. Like,
Spur on.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Totally.
So
Totally. I love that idea. Like, yeah. That's what I love Instagram. Like so much. I don't know if that's a good thing, but yeah, just like your stories are like so inspiring. And then you're always mindful about the other person on the other side, like who's watching or listening. So that truly, kind of keeps me going. Yeah, especially your stories,
oh,
Janelle, and your
thanks.
where all you've experienced. What are the different things that you've experienced in your life? So yeah,
Yeah.
totally
Thank
awesome.
you. I take that to heart. Thank you so much. So
Oh, welcome.
2010, did you say you left Calgary?
I left Calgary in 2010. Yes. 2010. So that's like gonna be, oh my goodness, that's like 11,
Oh,
yeah, 11 years ago.
that's
Wow.
crazy.
That's a decade in one
Ah,
year.
we were just kids
That's
almost.
crazy. Yeah.
So what
Yeah. So
happened?
that,
What made the big, because you made a massive move.
oh yeah. So my life's been kind of like it's like been sections. It's like I was just a little recap. I was born in India.
Okay.
And so like, yeah, so we just go maybe back go back a bit and
Yeah.
then we'll go
Yeah.
to 2010. So um yeah, so like I was born in India, and then my parents, we decided to move to Canada, like migrate
Okay.
basically. Yeah, so that was in 1998.
Okay.
Yeah. So then at one point of time, my parents, we wanted to move back to India because yeah, it's like did my whole schooling and yeah, everything there, church, that's where I got to meet,
Yeah.
yeah, you guys. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it was awesome. But yeah, we just felt like my parents felt that we needed to move back to India, like near family, and their parents were getting a bit older and more sick and stuff like that. So they just felt that they should go back. And and then we were there for another 10 years. And then in between, yeah, it's like literally decades after decades. So yeah. And and then we were like, so I had a Canadian passport. So I always had this desire like to go back, maybe to work or to study and stuff like that. So um, during my university, that's when I decided to do like a twin program. So that brought me to the US.
Oh, okay.
So Ohio State University. Yeah. And so I was there for about 8 months.
Okay.
And then I decided, well, the next logical thing for me to do, since I had a Canadian passport, would be to get a job in Canada. So I was like, okay, let's go to Calgary because that's where I knew everyone. And then I was like, oh, it'll be fine, I'll just fit right in. So, which thankfully God, provided a job, and I met you guys again,
Yes.
the church jubilee, and it was awesome. So I was there like like just about 2 years, and then I decided that I was interested in getting married. I know that sounds so funny. And then my parents, being Indians, popped the question. And and then that's what brought me to, my cousin's wedding, which was in 2009.
Okay.
And I had come to Malaysia because my mom was originally born in Malaysia. So she knew a whole bunch of people here.
Okay.
So and then my second cousin was getting married to a boy. And his brother was available. So the next best thing was to hook us together.
Okay.
Hook us up. And and that's where it all began. We became Facebook friends, Skype friends, and to make a long story short, we really hit it off. And in 2012, there were wedding bells ringing. As crazy as that sounds, because
Wow.
that's pretty much where everything started. I don't know what else to say
So
from there on.
did you meet your husband just by chance, or is it kind of like arranged, kind of like we really want you to meet this person, good fit for you?
Yeah, like I guess we were introduced, you could say, and then the rest were like, oh, okay, this auntie knew us, and then this auntie knew his mom, and then they kind of like, but we kind of were more on like a very open basis, and we were just kind of like, okay, we need to like really either like take this seriously, or we need to just scrap it and see whether it is going to work like for us, or is it going to work to make others happy,
Right.
so and like he's a doctor, and he's like he had super like, I guess you could say the schedules wouldn't match up to my timings in Canada. So we like when we were Skyping and so-called courting, we like I mean I was trying to figure out whether this was really going to work, because I said, like he's got to make time, even if it's across the miles, and if it's online.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of like ups and downs, and whether it was really going to work or not for a few times, but we really kind of persisted, and I guess it did work out at the end of the rest is basically history. No.
Yeah. How long did you guys try to like do the long term before you're like, okay?
Oh goodness. Okay, so the thing was I didn't want to like waste time if it was the wrong thing.
Right.
So I was like, okay, we're just gonna see, like, let's just meet again, because that during that wedding time and stuff, it was very brief. Like it was like, oh, hey, how's it going? And then we'd go home, and then we'd meet again, because bride's side, groom's side, and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of like wedding stuff happening.
Yeah.
And not really like it's not us on the limelight, right?
Yeah.
Or in the limelight. So Yeah, and then we just took it like, you know, uh, if it's going to work, we better make it worthwhile and like take you know, a big step into it. So I decided, well, actually my mom mooted the idea like, why don't you just go over there for another holiday and like see whether it like, you know, really works. I'm like, Mom, you're actually you're suggesting a holiday with this. She's like, oh, it can't be that bad, you know, you just make the most of it. So it's a holiday, you know, or else you come back with a potential husband. So my mom's like, okay, like, Mom, are you for real?
And your
For a
parents at
while.
that point are still in Canada?
No, they
No.
were in India at that time.
Okay.
They were in India. They were moved back. Yeah, they had moved
Okay.
back already. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So
So then you go on the
yeah.
holiday and you're like,
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we had like some chaperones and stuff happening there, but oh my goodness.
oh
So
my
yeah,
goodness.
meeting some relatives in between and some dinners, and I was like, okay, we got to do this, right? Since everyone knows in the whole country
Was
that
there
I'm
so
down.
much pressure? Did you find?
Oh, totally did. Totally, totally did. It's crazy. Like, I didn't think that I would be, oh, I shouldn't say that, but yeah, there's a kind of pressure that you can't really, it's, you can't really, how do you say, like pinpoint what it is. It's just kind of like, oh, okay, what do I tell them at the end of the day or what, you know, there's that. It's so weird, you know, I don't know.
You feel like at the end of the day, you're having a check in and being like, this is how it went. Yeah.
Well, at least with my mom, I don't think the rest of them expected it, but
Yeah.
I think they would get some feedback from mom, and that's what happens when you're like an Indian, I guess, an Asian. I bet if Lisa and Leela here, like, we are so not into that. This is why we remained in Canada. This is why we did not go back to India or Asia. Oh,
that's so funny. Oh my
yeah.
goodness. That's crazy. So you got married in 2012?
10.
10. Oh,
10.
sorry. 10.
Yeah, that's fine. I said 2012 first. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. And then Talia came along in 2012, and then Luke in 2014. Yeah.
Wow. So that changed everything. I mean, I didn't realize you had gone back so many times.
Oh yeah. 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 Totally. It's crazy how it just happened, and the I think that's what shaped me as a person as well. Is like moving so much. I've
Yeah.
had to adapt to my environment, but yet like sanely, you know.
Yeah.
Well, at least I think so.
Yeah.
It's some days it's, oh boy, yeah.
Yeah. And then learning the language. I don't know, like, did you know English when you first came?
I knew English because we spoke English at home,
Okay.
like a lot of I guess Indians. But yeah, when I went back, I really struggled, really struggled with the education system and stuff like that back in India. That mean,
Okay.
yeah, because I had a foreign passport, they allowed me to take up French.
Oh, okay.
So that really helped because I was like, I'm not learning Hindi or Tamil or anything because I don't know the font. Whereas at least French had the same
Right.
alphabets and stuff like as French, yeah, or as English.
Yeah. Wow, that would be challenging. I only know a very glimpse of what that might feel like just from traveling and being in places where like Bali, you're like, I don't know. I just can't seem to say hello properly. Like it's so
Oh yeah,
a tongue
yeah.
twister, you know? And just when you figure out how to say hello in Balinese, you're going to Thailand,
Yeah.
like, oh, and I don't know how to say hello now.
Yeah, or get them mixed up, right?
Yes. Or the money, just trying to
Oh
figure out the
goodness
currency.
me. I know. That was 12 months that you did that, right? The whole
Yeah, like it was about, 12 months and then we left again. We're in Mexico. That's when we came back from Guadalajara here.
Wow.
So yeah, it's always like always a new language, it feels like. So I can have a huge I don't know, like understanding, I guess, a little bit of understanding when people are trying to speak English, and sometimes
Yeah.
like it just it's such a second nature to us. But like going to the grocery store in Thailand, it's not like, hey, how's it going? Like, how's your day? Like you're just getting by, like, hello, like thank you. Like you know,
I
you
know, like,
realize
don't think,
how much
yeah.
brain work it is just to say those few things. Or like,
Oh,
how
yeah.
much are these? You're like, oh, how much are these? Like it's just so much work.
Take out your phone, Google
Totally.
Translate.
And it
Yeah.
sometimes works and sometimes doesn't.
Oh, right. At that
Yeah.
moment, it just like something has to hang, or yeah.
Yeah, totally. You're that person. You're like, oh man, I want to be friendly, but I hope my face
Yeah, I
is
know.
sure that I'm friendly.
The smile. I'm not trying to be snobby. Believe me.
Yeah, I'm trying to be really friendly. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say how much.
Yeah,
Oh man.
exactly. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Oh, that's crazy. So how have you found, like, so you moved here, how old were you when you first moved to Canada?
4.
You were 4. Okay. And then you went back when you were a teenager. Is that right? No.
Yes, 14. Yeah, like almost 14, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Do you see your guys' stuff, like, because that's a huge move, like for a whole family to move.
Yeah, I
That's
know. Um, yeah, it is huge. Like when I think about it, I'm like, how did I do that? I'm so great. No,
yeah, that's
no.
massive, huge adjustments. And then you're back in India till you're 24.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay. Wow. So how do you find, like, raising your kids? Do you have your parents' support? Is it very like community? I mean, I feel like here in Canada, you can have pods of community, but a lot of times, if you don't have a church community, you can feel, or really close to like your neighbors, which is kind of
Yeah.
foreign here, to have that close knit with your neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find,
Neighbors,
like,
yeah.
yeah, where you are now, is it raising kids a lot different than you remember being from 4 to 14 being here?
That's a really good question, because it totally is. Like, I mean, here, like, it takes a village to raise a child. That totally works in an Asian or an Indian kind of, or Malaysian. So I guess I should use that term since I live in Malaysia now. Um, yeah, like everybody has an input in
Mm.
what you do and what you don't do, and why you do it and why you don't do it. Well, because, and then it's always that, I hope I don't come out like too you know, condemning or anything like that. But that's a part of the culture. It's not necessarily you, or you don't have to feel. It's not meant for you to feel a specific way. It's just that because I'm older and I'm more experienced, that's why I have this kind of advice to give you, no
Right.
matter who you are. Yeah. So, and of course, church. Yes, church is a big part of, where we, come from and what we believe and what we stand for. But the city that we live in right now, it's, they didn't have a Sunday school for a long time within that community.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've been just doing the online thing right now, and yeah, since of course MCO and or the, lockdown and stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Um, yeah. So hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my parents are in India, so they come down whenever they possibly can,
Okay.
to help with the kids. And I'm at home. I'm not working right now.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Nice for the kiddos.
yeah.
That's really good. That's nice to
So.
have that, to be able to be home with the kiddos in that time, not feel like
Mm-hmm.
that you need to be out
Yeah.
if you don't have need to
Yeah.
be. That's interesting too, though, like how
Yeah.
you say, like, people have a say. Um, it doesn't matter who they are. If they're older than you, it's like they have a
Oh
bit of a
yeah.
say.
Oh yeah. Totally, totally. Yeah. And that's the right way.
Mm.
Yeah.
Non-questionable.
Yeah. I mean, of course, like if I know them on a personal level, then I think I would, you know, give my opinion about it. But otherwise, I would, you know, just rather not have anything to say back to them.
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
that's interesting.
yeah, totally.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, we can totally take this wherever you want. One of the questions I have asked people
Yeah.
is like, because I think even in my life, there's so many people that feel like they have a good view of your life, and then there's so much that lies beneath the surface, right? Like there's this part that we like show, and it's
Oh,
sometimes it's the part that we put on social media or things like that, or we're sitting in the front of a building, or we're pastor's wife or whatever, and people feel like they have a really good view of who you are. But then there's this part of you that like sits still and quiet, that people don't always know who you are on the inside, like the pains and the struggles. Um, and my question would be, what's one of the darkest times in your life, and why would that be?
so I kind of just when you asked me that, so 2010 basically is when I lost my brother as well, my younger brother. I think you heard of Ruben. So
Okay.
he was 4 years younger than me. Um, so that would have had to be the best year of my life, as well as one of the deepest, darkest years as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we got married in May 2010. And actually in January 2010, just after Christmas and stuff. So I was in Canada and he was in India. He was staying with my parents at that particular time,
Okay.
but not in the same city. He had gone down to another part of the country to basically do a training for his work.
Okay.
And yeah, so he actually he had an accident and he
Okay.
had fallen down from a building,
Oh my God.
and we actually don't know any more details. He was with friends.
Mm.
um yeah, so a lot of I guess you would say not a lot of closure happened with this death, but I think with time, with prayer, with healing, and of course God's help, just trying to move on from that, and then just knowing that he's with our savior.
Mm.
I don't think there's any better closure than that, and that we're going to meet him one day. Yeah,
Yeah.
so just hold on to that, and
Tragic though.
oh yeah, totally,
So,
totally tragic. Yeah, and especially because there's a wedding being planned at that point of time, and yeah, like
so you were engaged at this point? Is
yes,
that right?
well,
Okay.
um ring wise no, but
Okay.
it was yeah, it was a mutual thing. So we had the ceremony all in 1 week because there was like a lot of people traveling,
Oh,
right?
okay.
So we just did it within a couple days.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of formalities because I'm not a local Malaysian, so I had to do like a registration on the
Okay.
5th, and then we got engaged on the 6th, and then the 8th we had our ceremony as well as our
Wow.
wedding dinner. It was kind of crazy.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And then a week later, we flew down to India and we had another reception for all the Indian people that couldn't come down to Malaysia, for like friends of my parents and the church they attended and stuff like that. Yeah. So
Wow. That's amazing.
kind of
That's a
like,
lot. So that happened in June, you said? Or
so May. Yeah,
in May?
May.
And your
All
brother
in
passed
May.
away in January.
January.
Wow.
And yes, January 16th. And
Okay.
actually, if you go back a few spaces, like 5 days before that, my future to be, 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 5 days before that, my future to be father-in-law also passed away on the 11th of January, 2010 as well.
Whoa.
So we had like 6 days. I know.
So you and your fiance are like, there's so much grief that you're having to weed
Oh,
through.
yeah. And like my dad's in one part of India. My mom is attending my to-be husband's, Jeffrey, by the
Yeah.
way, dad's funeral in Malaysia.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm in Calgary. It's like, could there be, and it's just, oh my goodness.
Wow.
When I talk about it, it's like, did this even happen? Yeah. It's surreal.
Yeah, the tragedy.
Yeah.
None of you are together, so you can't even comfort each other.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Wow.
and like, yeah. Yeah, was tragic is the right word. Mhm.
Did you feel like you were able to really absorb what was happening in the midst of all the planning, or did you feel like that kind of came afterwards, just like the flood of like the grief found you when you were now married and you were, or was it something you could actually walk through at the time?
I kept on just thinking like there would have been no better time. Like I know that sounds crazy because you don't say that. Like you're just like, okay, at least, you know, I'm gonna, I have like something else to look forward to. Like, you know, at least I'm gonna get through this and get past it. But of course, it's like easier saying that now from that point of time. I was in a bit of a denial because I had to like, I heard the news Friday night and then it's already Saturday morning for them.
Right.
And then I have to pick it. I had to kind of think like logically for a few days, I guess, you know, to get my stuff together and pack my clothes and get there. And it was like, oh no, your friends, like, I know Lindsay and Justin came over that night. Well, I stayed with them, so they didn't come over. They came back from, I think it was bowling or something, and then they were just like, hey, you need to book a ticket, like, you know, do you need help doing that? And I remember like I needed someone else to think for me, you know, like on what exactly to do next. Like, oh, okay, yeah, like I need to go there. Like I can't just be sitting here. And then I'm thinking work. Oh, I need to leave like in March and it's January now. What am I gonna do for the whole of February? You know, what do I do for them? Like I don't want to leave them high and dry. And yeah, so it was kind of all those things, you know, happening in my thoughts and emotions. Yeah. And then like 38-hour journey to get there.
Wow.
And then you're kind of hit with this whole, you know,
then it hits
okay,
you.
it actually happened. Yeah. And yeah, I guess that's to sum it up.
Wow.
Yeah, it was tough for sure. For sure.
And then you're doing planning funeral and then stepping into like wedding planning. Did you stay at that point or did you come back?
I came back. I had to come back to kind of wrap things up, like
wow,
back in Calgary. Yeah, so I stayed. I think I was down for like 20 days or 22 days or something like that. Yeah.
Wow. Just to kind of wrap your job up and then go back
Yeah.
and plan the wedding. So there's a lot happening. There's the grieving, there's the planning the wedding, there's the planning funeral and saying goodbye, and then coming back to wrap it all up, then to go back and get married.
Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. So did you find that like once you were married, like that all of a sudden all of everything hit you? Or did you find that you were able to weave through that process? Or did you find that, oh my gosh, I'm sitting here going, okay, all this has happened, but what just happened?
Yeah, because I think it was like the initial part of the excitement, okay, you know, like the wedding and the marriage. And then, I mean, we'd hardly spent much time together. So it was, that part of it was definitely something to treasure. And then But of course, we had our grieving time together.
Yeah, because he's also
I
grieving
remember,
his father.
yeah, because it was like I couldn't be there for his dad's because I had to, you know, wrap things up. And then next thing you know, I had to be down in India, you know, and then he was like, I need to be there for my mom and, you know, family and, you know, just stuff. And so it was just like all of those kind of logistics. But, you know, it's like, it's all right, you know, we'll just meet in March, the end of March, you know, and then I think it helped when we were together for
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because we hadn't had each other to grieve with
Right.
prior to that, well, properly, you know, other than the phone or, you know, yeah, because we hadn't met before that. Yeah. So it was definitely more, I guess, comforting. Yeah.
Yeah. To have
And
each
then of
other.
course, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then it was kind of like, well, even like the wedding, like people are like, oh, you know, like you guys are gonna, you know, we got questions like you guys are gonna go ahead with it. Like it's like, yeah, I mean, my dad or his dad and my brother would definitely would have wanted us to carry on with the plans, right? And there's no doubt about that, you know. But yeah, other than that,
Wow. Wow. So you've had like 10 years, 11 years since that?
yes,
Yeah.
11,
Yeah.
21. Yes, this January was 11 years, sorry. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
what would you tell somebody? Because I asked this because I've had some friends in the
Mhm.
last year that have
Mhm.
lost significant others, brothers and sisters.
Mhm.
What would you
Mhm.
tell somebody who is now, from your perspective, having that 11-year span of grief and, you know, questioning and all the things that come along with that? What would you tell somebody that's sitting in that seat that's maybe a 6 months in or a year in to that
Hmm.
loss?
Oh, I can't say it gets easier,
Mm.
but then in a way, I feel like the years, like you have all the memories there in your heart, you'll never forget them, you
Mhm.
know? And I guess like you just have that assurity that you're going to meet them one day, and you just have to hold on to that. And then there are days that are so hard to get by, but you know, everyone has good days and there are bad days. And I just feel that, you know, there are more good days than bad days. So just hold
Yeah.
on to that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm crying.
No,
It's just been,
no.
and
All is welcome here. Yeah.
it's just it's good to talk about it, you know, sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this, you know, just don't hide anything, right?
Yeah. Let it out.
Yeah, yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Do you find there's things that you've done like along your journey, whether it
Mhm.
be like write memories down or write letters to him or sit and just remember moments like that have
Oh
helped
yeah,
you? Yeah.
yeah, totally. Like, because I had a lot of like emails, and there was like a lot of like when I heard at first, like of course had to call me because my parents didn't have the guts to tell me.
Mm.
So then I remember the first thing I did was like look at his last email, and then I printed all the emails that I had of my brother because I had moved back to Canada at that point in time. So I had like a 2 year, or I think it was like a year and a half because they had come down to visit me once.
Okay.
Yeah, so I remember like every picture, everything that I could get to see, like, oh, okay, this is, you know, this reminds me of him, or this is um connected to him, I guess you
Yeah.
could say. And I remember like um just like his phone number. I wouldn't like delete the text messages or, stuff like that. Or
Mhm.
it's just like just to hang on to him like a little bit more or a little longer.
Yeah.
And I think it was just, yeah, like those emails, like, I think it was just like about last year or so that I just decided to just, finally, I just let go of all the emails because I just felt like I, I don't need this anymore, to hold
At
on
the
to him.
time.
And yeah, I just felt that I had to do it. I don't think there was any reason
Mhm.
to like hold on to it and stuff like that. Yeah. So
Do you think that was like a step with your healing with that? Just
yeah,
like, yeah.
totally. Yeah, totally. Like healing and yeah. And not that like I don't miss him anymore. He's not part of my life anymore. It was just kind of like more an assurance or that, yeah, he's with me. I don't need these
Mhm.
things to hold on to
Right.
him or his memories or that he was my brother. Like, yeah. So if that makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah. No. I've heard of stories where people are like they'll have something that they remember of
Yes.
their significant other, and they'll hold on
Okay.
to that.
All right.
And sometimes, like this one story I heard, this man, he kept on hold on to his father's pocket watch, and
Oh yeah.
he just like loved it. It was his dad, right? To him it
Mm-hmm,
was like
mm-hmm,
his dad loves clock and loved
mm-hmm.
pocket watches, and it was just like this was
Yeah.
part of his dad. And it
Mm-hmm.
was years later that they had a move, and the pocket watch went missing. um and he broke, and he just sobbed
Oh no.
because it was like the last thing,
Last thing that
right?
he had. Uh-huh.
um and the emails might just have just been part of your like you're releasing, you're letting go, yeah, going, okay, like he's still with me. But yeah, it's interesting that you did that. I think that's I think everybody's like healing looks so different, and some of us might hold on to the emails forever and put them in,
Yeah, yeah, I know.
and some might be like, no, that's part of my healing, and I'm going to let that go because that's not him. He is like right here, right for you. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And like I know as funny as it sounds, sorry, it's just getting hot, so I'm just turning on the air conditioning. Um, I just I feel like some days like because I'm at home and stuff like that, and then I'll like get upset with the kids and stuff, and then I'll be like I can just hear his voice. It's so
Mm.
weird. It's like calm down, cool down, like just like how he would like I've always been like that, kind of always like rushed and crazy and just trying to getting ahead of myself, and then he's
Yeah.
just like, can you just chill? Like it's all gonna be fine. They're just kids. Just let them be, and you'll be fine too. You don't have to
Yeah.
get all worked up about it. I'm like, what? Like, where are you? This is creepy. And he's just like, oh, it's all right. I can deal with this. And
Yeah.
if it works, it works. And I'm just like, okay,
He's still very much a part of you, and even in
yeah.
your daily life going, I hear you telling me to calm down.
I'm not hearing things, people. My God, this girl. Who is she again? Where is she from?
No, but sometimes there is like that sense of knowing, right? Or you can like
Oh
feel it
yeah.
because like you did life with him for so long, and you knew his nature, and you knew the things that he would have said to you, and just the oppositeness of the two of you, right? Being
Yeah,
like, hey.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah. It is just like it's crazy, because I'm just like sometimes I'm like, am I like just making it up to make myself feel better,
Yeah.
as crazy as it sounds. Oh my goodness.
I don't think it sounds crazy at all. I think that like I've heard people say that many times where it's like they lose a spouse, and it's like
Yeah.
you can feel their subtle nudges, right? Like their subtle
Mhm.
whispers, and being like, hey, like,
Yeah.
take it easy, or take a deep breath,
Yeah.
or yeah, like they're still so much a part of you.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that's really beautiful that in all of this, you're like, I want to freak out. And you're like, no, calm down. Take a deep breath.
Maybe not like exactly at that moment, like that I should have, like maybe a couple minutes later when I'm like, oh, whoops. Was that what I was supposed to do? Retrace my steps. Oops.
That's beautiful though. Like even to even, I think to someone who's listening who might have lost, someone close to them, being like, hey, like, like if that rises in you, if you hear that, like listen to it and let them speak. Let there be room for that. And and maybe that's part of the closeness that you feel to your brother. Maybe that's part of like why you let go of the letters, was like, no, I feel him all the time in these other moments.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
thank
really
you.
sorry. I wasn't very close to
Fine.
you and all that
No.
transpired, and I heard about it, but we didn't talk.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can't imagine the traveling and trying to figure out how to get home, and then, getting
Oh,
back
yeah.
here and then planning a wedding and then grieving together with your husband, going like, we're married, yes, and that's amazing, but we both feel
Yeah.
significant loss.
Mhm.
Like that's a lot to bear as
Yeah.
you're starting a
And
new life together.
oh yeah, yeah, for sure. That's the thing, And like the people at the wedding also, they're like they don't know how to like approach it, and they're like, oh, we heard about Ruben, we don't, we heard about Jeff's dad, we're sorry. So it was kind of like there were some tears, there's
Yeah.
tears of joy, and then yeah, I mean naturally,
Yeah.
because people are meeting after a long time, and yeah,
Yeah. A
for a
mixture of
large
so
gathering.
many feelings,
Mhm.
probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, Janelle.
Yeah.
Anytime.
I
This
hold it carefully and tenderly. So, yeah. No. I'm so glad I got a chance to have this chat today. I always end with like some kind of question. And my question for you would be like, what's one thing this week that like made you really smile? It can be a story, it
this
can be like a moment. You're like I just felt like this heap of like joy just bust out of me. It can be like in the last year.
help you help me out. Okay. Um yeah, I guess like just yesterday, like it was just so out of the blue that we decided to go out for lunch, because usually we would go out for dinner. But this time it was lunch and then the beach, and then I just got to hang out with like a bunch of some of my favorites. So I think that was the thing that made me smile, and I got to see the ocean after like a
Mm.
few weeks. But I live like literally 20 minutes from the beach, so I can get it's
But
pretty
it's easy though to not go there though when it's right there.
exactly. Well,
Mhm.
yeah, because you've got your school, you've got your routine going, and then you can't go out to often, and there's all those things like bedtimes and stuff like that. So it was just like kind of special, like wow. And then that the awe of the beach, and yeah, it was really lovely.
Was this escaping just your husband, or were you with your kids, your family, or was it just
Oh
like
yeah, we were with a whole bunch of them. Yeah, it was kind of
nice?
yeah, a big group with socially distant or physically distant. Well, yeah,
Yes.
physically,
Yes.
not
Oh,
socially.
are you guys
Yeah.
still in pretty much, is it pretty
Um,
open or?
yeah, we're pretty much open with all our, the masks and then the 2 meters, which is pretty much standard. But certain parts of Malaysia are stricter than the other parts. So
Okay.
we're blessed in our state right now, and there's no like traveling between the
Oh,
states and stuff. So you need to get letters and you need to get like permission and stuff. Yeah.
okay.
So this weekend we were going to go down to visit some friends, and yeah, and Jeff's mom. Yeah,
Oh,
my
nice.
mom's mom. Yeah. So it's
Nice.
been like since Christmas since we met her. So It's going to be
Wow.
awesome.
And do you have to go get letters to do that? Is that something you're going to need to?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Jeff's going to go on Wednesday. So yeah. Hope that all works out. Yeah.
Still new normals to adjust to, hey?
I know. I totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm just so glad that there's no more online learning. Well, not anymore, but it's just like, okay, that was a tough one because my younger one was going to grade 1.
Okay.
So yeah, so it's been like
they're back in school now. Yes. It's a big, you know what though? It's a huge change. And I feel really bad for parents that have gone from like having your kids in school to then like having your kids at home, online learning. It's such a hard thing because people have such a now skewed view of what home learning can look like. It doesn't have to look like that, but people who are like, it's almost like
I know, Janelle, we should have learned from you years ago, right?
But it's a bit of a whiplash. You're like, oh my gosh, my neck hurts, my head hurts, my whole body hurts. I gotta try to teach these kids and then be online half the day. And it's different. I feel really bad for everybody that has had such a massive shift like that, because home learning is typically a lot different than that. But it's I can't imagine. I know some friends whose kids went from being in school full time to them logging into school at 8 a.m. and doing everything, including gym, online until 3 p.m. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And she's like, she had 4 kids. She's like, I had to get computers, I had to get them all set up. Like it was and there's so much screen time, right? With these kids looking into the screen, and no connection. So I feel bad for everybody who's had to do that. It's a massive switch. Yeah.
How have things been in Calgary now? Is it better or?
Like we've opened up, that we're still like not fully open, like think 15% capacity in all restaurants, and like gyms and things like that. I don't think you can like, get sweaty. I know it sounds kind of funny, but I think like you have to like
you kind of be doing outdoors.
Or like really calmer activities for gyms and things like that. But we had like our restaurants were closed from November until I think it was beginning of March, like closed for indoor services. So you could only do takeaway, which I feel super bad. There's some people have taken a massive hit.
We had that too.
Did you too? It's kind of funny. We had that happen when we had the malls open the whole time. So it made kind of no sense. Like,
doesn't make sense, right?
No, like, people would be like, bring their picnic blanket and have a picnic in the mall.
You didn't say we couldn't.
Yeah.
We're still open.
That's kind of hard to understand. And like a lot of like personal services, like hairdressers, that kind of stuff was closed for a long time too. So but it's kind of finding a bit of a new normal in the sense of things are opening up. So you can actually go and have dinner with your family, and things like that. But like still not supposed to have any like people into your home, no like in-home gatherings, no groups of 10 gathering over like, outside gatherings can't be more than 10 apparently. I think that's where things are still at. So there's still quite a bit of restrictions, but we just came out of 24 days of quarantine. So we're really thrilled to just get out. Yeah. So we had
is like amazing how you did that. We had like 2 weeks of it. And that was just like, I can't do this anymore. And I was like complaining. Like I had my meals all cooked. My mom-in-law would do that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we were in Brisbane for a year.
Okay.
So we got back in June.
Okay.
For Jeff's work and stuff like that. And so I remember after the 14 days, we were like, whoa, what are we doing? We got bikes and we were riding them around. What should we do? What should we do?
Yeah, freedom! Like you're just so excited to get out.
Yeah, right? Like your first walk and stuff like that. I remember you
I was getting teary-eyed. I walked off my driveway. I was like, I love the earth.
I could kiss anyone who walks by.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's so good. Yeah, it's good. I hope we can come visit you guys at some point. It'd be really nice to come.
Yes, totally. I was just gonna say, just if you get the opportunity, just come over and you're welcome to stay with us. And
You're so sweet. We're a big tribe. There's 6 of us.
Okay, like some of you.
We'll take 2 of you. We'll put 4 you somewhere else.
I've got enough relatives to kind of split you guys up, around the same area. Remember? I don't know, but you might have to check in and check out. What time? Where were you? What did you eat?
Oh, we'll welcome it all.
I know you guys have been through it all and done it all, right?
Oh, we just learned to be very easygoing. So no, I would love to come see you guys, and I so appreciate getting this chance to talk to you. It's been over a decade.
Thank you. I'm so privileged. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. This is awesome, and thanks for sharing some of the harder moments. Yeah, those are hard.
It's so good to talk to you, because I remember you were such a role model when I was growing up, because I thought you were the prettiest and the smartest. I was like, she's got it all together: beauty, brains, boyfriend, youth leader. I mean, not have it better than that,
Oh, it's so funny. That's so funny. Other people's point of view. Yeah.
People. Hey, no. Yeah, and I still remember going up to you one day after service or something. I think it was downtown. I don't know if you have time.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I said, I can't remember how to study for this. How do you remember all the points under this? And I don't know what subject it was. You're like, oh, she's like, so I still remember you saying this. I can't crystal clear, okay, in my head.
Now I'm like, what did I say?
Yeah, you're like, oh, if I have a test coming up, I'll just put my textbook on my bathroom counter or dressing table counter, wherever you had your curling iron. And then you're like, I'll just take one piece of my hair and I'll twirl it around and I'll have a look at the points, and then I finished it up. And then I take the next strip, and then that one's curled. I'm like, wow, she's brilliant. She does her hair and her homework, and she aces her test all in one go. It's so hard.
Oh my gosh, I'm crying.
I said it was you.
That is so funny. I have no recollection of this, but that does not surprise me. Oh my goodness. It worked. I just twirl my hair and things just come to me. Everything just sticks then.
Yeah, it just sticks in my brain. It's all the hair. It's all the hair and the curling iron and heat,
Oh my gosh. Little do you know, I was barely making it through high school. It's like, man, I'm going to fail this course bad.
It got me through.
Oh my gosh. Well, I hope you're still twisting that hair when you're like, well, I don't know.
Permanently twisted. No, untwisted. It's poker straight. It's
oh my gosh. That is the funniest thing I've heard.
Oh my gosh.
You cracked me up. That
I was like, I have to tell Janelle that at the beginning, at the end, in the middle, I will just somehow slot it in
Oh my gosh, that is seriously the best. I love that story. I really don't remember this, but I can there's a lot of things I don't remember, but I love hearing old stories. You're like, well, that must have
right?
That just came to me that day. Just twist that hair. My sister literally had a poster on her wall when I was growing up. It said some have brains, some have beauty, and some are lucky enough to have both. Someone had given it to her, and I always remember I'd lay in bed and I'd be like, oh God, if you could just let me be pretty for just one day, if I could just be smart for one day. I looked up to my sister so much, and I was like, she's got brains and beauty. I just want one of those.
So cute. You have everything, Janelle.
Oh my gosh, so funny. Wow. You cracked me
up.
And
I love all your videos, your Instagram, and even the paint pots. Talia, I was showing my daughter because she loves crafts and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, oh, look at what they did. And, oh, what did they add into the normal paint? Can we do that with the paints that we get here? Yes, they're Kmart paints, but they'll work, I think. Just so funny.
Oh, it's
Oh my
funny. Oh
goodness.
man.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad we can stay connected even if it's from afar and
Yes.
see each other's lives unfolding and watch each other's kids grow up. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah, I would love to come and see you guys sometime. This was
Sure,
really, really
Janelle.
good. I know it's probably super late for you now. What time is it there now?
10:40,
10:40
but
and
it's fine.
10:40 p.m. and I'm just starting my day at
PM.
7 a.m. 7:40. Nuts.
Nuts. Yeah.
Nuts. Oh, well, have a did you want to say something?
No, I was just thinking, like, do you do your spas at home now? Is that what you're doing now?
To work?
Yeah.
No, I have a space downtown, Calgary.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's
Well,
good.
that is sweet.
Just got back to work, so it's good. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. But thank you
Awesome.
so much. Have a beautiful sleep. And I hope we can do this
Thank you,
more
Janelle.
often. No, I only dream
Yeah.
of sunny days. You're like, I got to put the fan on. I'm like, literally, it's snowing. We have this thing called a it's not called snow squirrel, but it sounds like it when you say it.
Uh-huh.
Basically, it's a massive windstorm with a bit of snow.
Okay.
And we had like plus 15 a few days ago, and today
Yeah.
it feels like minus 21.
Oh
And
my
I can
goodness.
feel the wind coming off the windows. I'm sitting here and you're like, I got to turn the fan on. It's getting hot in here. I'm like, I'm dreaming of days like that.
You will get it. You will get it soon. I just don't know when.
Yeah.
In Calgary, everything's unpredictable,
Oh, I
right? You
know.
get
It's like,
snow in June. I remember I was there that
oh,
year.
yeah.
It snowed in June.
It's such an emotional weather. It's like a woman going through menopause weather. It's just, you just never know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You can have all 4 seasons, right?
Yeah. In 1 month, in 1 week, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, have a really great night. And thanks again for hanging out. I look forward
Thank
to
you.
hopefully seeing you in the next year or so in real life. I'd love to come that
Totally.
way. We'll see how the world opens up when it opens up.
Sure.
But all righty. All right. Well, love you so much.
Bye, Janelle.
Give your
Love
kids
you
a big
too.
hug.
Thank you
It's nice
so
to see
much.
them. Take care.
Yeah, you too.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a great day.
Thanks. You
Bye,
too.
Janelle. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.